Hey, Teddy K here for the Best Buy blog, and in this video review, take a look at the LG Gram, but specifically the 17-inch model, which is a lightweight PC at just under 3 pounds. Who doesn't like a 17-inch laptop? Especially when it weighs just a touch under 3 pounds. So LG managed to make the Gram, at least the 17-inch version, a really lightweight form factor that is unusual for a laptop of this size. But it works, especially if you like to have a 17-inch screen, but you don't necessarily want the weight or the heft to go with it. There is, of course, a trade-off in getting that. And what I mean is primarily in the design. So the design is understated, if we can put it that way. It's really nothing special. This is not the prettiest of laptops that you're going to find, but it's fine. I mean, if you're just looking for, again, you're just looking for the laptop to do something as opposed to just looking good, it should do a well enough job for that. There are a couple things that LG did do that do make a difference. So if you've used the previous Gram 17-inch, you'll have remembered probably that some keys were reduced in size, particularly like the Enter key, the Delete key. Those have now been sized back to where they should be, so they're easier to type with. I didn't use that laptop, so I can't really speak to what the comparison's like, but you know, if you have, then you would know the difference. Beyond that, I think the keyboard, is responsive. There's, you got a trackpad. Unfortunately, the screen is not a touch screen, so there's no pen input. You can't use your fingers. You can't do anything like that. So even though you have a larger canvas to work with, there's just no input that way, unfortunately. It's kind of a bummer because I think after a while using this, especially if you want to make really precise edits, let's say on a photo or something like that, and a pen would be useful. Unfortunately, that's not going to work here. There are no shortage in ports, so you have 3 USB 3.1 ports, you got a USB-C port, you've got a micro SD card slot, headphone jack, HDMI. I mean, it's all here pretty much. There's a lot you can do as far as hooking this up or just hooking up peripherals to it when you need to, and especially even if you have a large screen here and you want to add a second monitor, it's very easy to do that. There are a couple things though that I think are very much important to note. So first and foremost is the fact that this is not a gaming machine. I know 17-inch laptops, sometimes you think that they would be, and yes, casual games and games that are not very taxing on the CPU or GPU will play just fine. But if you're looking to play the latest Call of Duty, it's not going to work very well here. This is an integrated graphics card. It's okay. It's not great. And again, you don't have HDR on the screen either, so even if you're like streaming content from Netflix or any other streaming service, it'll look good. I mean, it's an IPS display, so it will look good, but again, you're lacking that HDR. It's also not a 4K display, so you don't get that either. So I think it comes down to some of the things that you can do, okay? So Office, for example, word processing, spreadsheets, that type of stuff is gonna be just fine here. You're not really gonna run into any problems at all. Even if you're editing photos on Facebook, on Photoshop or anything like that, that should be fine too. Now, video editing, I don't know, even though there's a Core i7 in here, I think the processing power is there for that. It's just the GPU, again, that becomes a bit of a factor as to how quickly you can do the job. I think if you're into video editing a lot and you're doing a lot of it, you may want something a little bit better, especially with a different screen, because again, those things are important for that. But otherwise, when it comes to browsing or just anything else, for just those day-to-day sort of tasks, not really a problem. I didn't encounter any real issues, and that includes the battery life. So battery life, you might think on a machine like this would be suspect, given the screen size and everything. It's because of the efficiency of the processor, and also that Windows 10, of course, allows you to allocate. You can go battery saving or you can go performance, depending on what it is you need to save some battery. I actually went through a full day with this without any real problem, which is great. I wasn't sure I would, but I did. And so for that reason, I'd say it's a useful device for what it is that you need. So to me, I see this really from two sides. So you like 17-inch PCs or laptops, and you want it to be lightweight. This checks off both those boxes, but as I mentioned already, there are trade-offs and caveats to get there. So as long as you're okay with those, you should be fine here. But to be honest, I mean, for something of this price, I would have wanted a little bit more performance, more so on the GPU side, not so much on the CPU side, because multitasking on this is quite, is fine. but I think there could have been a little bit more included here just to make this that much better. I mean, the speakers are not good, so make sure to use a pair of headphones if you're going to be watching a movie or a show or anything on this. Unfortunately, LG did not put great speakers on this. So those, that's just one of the examples that I mean of, like, you're paying a premium price for something that doesn't have everything that's premium, but the experience should feel good, and ideally this should last a long time if you treat it right. And that's my review of the LG Gram 17-inch for the Best Buy blog. I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.